welcome to another episode of Giving a Hoot. I'm Luke. That's John. That's Kyle.
Pointing to the ether?
I'm pointing to the ether. I don't know what side he's going to be on, but one of these sides.
One of them.
Kyle, I hope you are south of Council Bluffs, because if you're not, then this just, revolves around the earth until it hits you.
I mean, I'm definitely west.
There. Cardinal directions. They're a thing. So it's been a couple weeks, and Union Omaha has played the same amount of U.S. Open Cup games as it has league games.
And will yet again have played more cup games than league games soon. For at least a little bit.
At least until Saturday, after Wednesday. So, obviously, since we're playing a Open Cup game this Wednesday, that means we defeated the Des Moines Menace, their star-studded Des Moines Menace, which.
So wait, no, like dwarf stuff.
Yeah. No, not quite black hole.
Yeah, I don't even think we knew about Akindele until the day of or something too.
Yeah, I think he arrived at the airport and they weren't sure he was going to make it. Was how it seemed kind of presented to me. But I think we predicted it well. They looked tired in the second half, and we took advantage of that.
Especially that last goal where it's just because they were all, they had the afterburners turned on trying to level up, and some of the defending when Lagos scored was not even defending. They were just standing there. I think they were expecting to whistle the blow, and Lagos just said, okay, I'm going to take this. But that's how the game ended.
Credit to Lagos, he did not celebrate against his former team. So not only is he a good player, he's a classy player. But let's jump to the one that theoretically will matter longer. Union Omaha's second league game, and against one Knoxville at one Knoxville, not two Knoxville, one Knoxville, and we played.
It was definitely the ugliest looking game we've had so far.
I think both teams did a good job of keeping their opponent from playing the kind of game they wanted. It looked very much like they were focusing on negating their opponent's strength as opposed to being able to execute their own.
So, question for both of you. Just based on the way UO was playing, do you feel that Dom was focusing more on the El Paso game and just trying to, not trying to play our game as much as we normally would? Knowing that we have a big game on this Wednesday, followed by a home opener?
I think if you go by the lineup, I wouldn't jump to that conclusion immediately. It looked like we basically were playing the 11 guys that we're going to want to play for any meaningful game.
How close are those to the ones that you called back in February?
That water under the bridge. But I'm not saying that we were holding reserves in the tank, but I think it definitely was that maybe both teams were kind of feeling themselves out a little bit, more for a little bit of a longer time. And Knoxville were definitely their most impressive. Their most impressive play was in the first 30 minutes of the game, and after that, it definitely started leveling off.
I will say this, and there may be some people who are more critical than me about it of the reffing. I thought the reffing was all right. It's just that the reffing. The ref decided to call a lot of softer calls. And so when you understand that that's happening, we didn't seem to really adjust to that. And so like we went in hard and kept going in hard and kept picking up yellow cards. Including Gomez's one, which was not the smartest. So
honestly 50-50 could have gotten sent off directly.
Yeah. So that was the thing where I think we didn't really match that level, right? Like we didn't see what was happening and adjust accordingly. Because otherwise, yeah, like we were trying to stymie them, they were trying to stymie us. But that was the big one where I was like, we are not matching the tone the ref is trying to set here.
Yeah. The ref, I think, started throwing cards too early. They started like calling things too early, and then it just kind of escalated there.
I also think that, so it seemed like that Knoxville maybe was not accustomed to playing under the conditions that they played at with regards to Friday game instead of a Saturday game and the time of the kickoff. I don't watch Knoxville home games that often, but it looked like the conditions with the sun and where it's positioned and the time of the day that kickoff was. It did not seem like it was something that even they were accustomed to. I just thought it maybe slowed down a little bit at the beginning of the game. And Knoxville caught on earlier than we did. That's why they were getting most of their better chances, kind of in that 15 to 30th minute range in the first half. Definitely took us longer to adjust to that.
Well, and I mean, Shido had a hell of a game. Like without Shido being Shido,
saved us early, kept us in early. Yeah, that's for sure.
It's like they came out hot, looking on target, and Shido had to make some solid saves. I wouldn't say any of them were earth-shattering, save of the year sort of saves, but shows he hasn't lost a step in the offseason. Now he looked more comfortable than he has even in previous years, and that's saying something.
Yeah, sorry, John. I was just looking through. That was, I think, their first home Friday game, because they've only hosted 3 times. That was their first Friday, and one of the other games was a bit earlier in the day, so maybe they were not as used to that timing as well.
Allegedly not planned from the beginning for them. It sounds like they had to adjust to Tennessee spring game.
Oh.
So, no resources available to manage something like a USL League One game on Saturday, as with the Tennessee spring game going on at the same time. So I don't remember the league announcing that the game moved, but it definitely was not originally scheduled for Friday.
Well, do you want to hear a fun stat that I was just curious about? So I had looked up earlier this week.
Yes.
Take a guess at how many of our league home games are not on Saturday.
Our league home games this year?
Our league home games this year. How many of our league home games are not on Saturday?
So not the Cup.
Not the Cup.
But we have 14 home games, correct?
No, league home games.
11.
Yeah, 11.
7 are not on Saturday, right?
No. Only 1 is not on a Saturday.
Of our league?
Of our league home games, 1 is not on Saturday. There's 1 on Wednesday. Of our league away games, we have half are on Saturday, half are not.
I wonder if that's just a weird quirk that just totally happened at random, because most of our home cup games are not on Saturday.
Well, most of our cup games in general, we only have 1 Saturday cup game. The other 7 are not on Saturday.
I have to look up other teams' schedules to see if that lines up with them too. I don't think it does, because I know the league did set up cup match days, but it's not, it's still it can stretch from Wednesday to Sunday, and that's the same match day. There's no like logical pattern to it whatsoever.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is, but like we put as many of our home games that aren't the cup, because our cup games are like midweek ones for all of them. Like our home games that aren't the cup we have on Saturdays for the most part. But all of our away games. Sorry.
Just to clarify, since we have multiple cup competitions, you aren't talking about the USL one, Jägermeister Cup.
Yes, the Jaeger Cup. Yes. Sorry. That does need to be differentiated. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the weird things that I'm like, this game was on Friday, and then a lot of our league away games and most of our cup games are just not on Saturdays. They're on some other day. So it's going to be it's just some weird scheduling this year.
Would you say it's schedule congestion that would stop us from playing in one of the world's oldest continual tournaments?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Only suckers would say that.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. I like to have these clarifying conversations.
Soft with an A-W.
SAWFT. All right. Second half. We have Dos Santos' probably best goal of his career. And he has had many goals. That's not a Blake Malone's best goal of the career level of conversation. While Blake did have a very nice goal to start out the season. Steven takes that, what was that, 25-yard out?
It was from a ways, and the half volley sneaks up on him. You don't notice it live. It's easier to see that on the replay when you're zoomed in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it was definitely one of those where it's wide open enough you don't mind that somebody like him takes that shot.
Well, and he did very well to get his chest around that, turn it away from the defenders into some wide open space, take that half volley and just whale it. And like, that was not a cross, that was a shot from 25 yards out, and it just finds the back corner of the net.
So the funniest thing about that goal to me, they gave Malone the assist.
They did. I did see that.
Like he so created that himself.
That puts Blake at being. Is he up there for our league goals and assists? Yep.
He's been involved in 2 of our league goals now.
So he is currently second per Flop Mob on our league goals and assist count.
Doesn't even have the Jaeger Cup schedule yet, so let's not give them as much credit as they deserve.
I don't know. Blake doesn't have a picture up there yet, but I feel like this is his season for it.
They're very inconsistent about who they get pictures for and who they don't.
That is true. That is true. But we managed to close out the game. 9 minutes of stoppage time announced, 10 minutes played. Red card given to a
Jalen Chrysler.
Well, it wasn't quite a punch. It was more like an open hand to the face.
It was kind of like a stiff arm.
Yeah. Anyways, not allowed. Red card. He wasn't doing much anyway.
Well, he I think escaped a yellow card earlier because they gave a yellow card to someone else rather than him. So like he probably would have gotten sent off for a second yellow if it wasn't a straight red. Or it should have been, but
hand to the face is always going to be a straight red.
Mm-hmm.
So good call by the ref there.
Also got more distance on that single strip of knuckle tape that he took off and threw. That was like maybe the length of wrapping it 2 times around a single knuckle, and he still, that typically tends to float and just like fall right away. But no, that had some distance to it. Good job with that angry throw there. Skelton. No, not Skelton. I'm sorry. Skelton got a card too. It was Chrysler.
Okay. we don't face them for a little while yet. So unfortunately, we can't take advantage of that red. But considering they're one of the stronger teams, or predicted to be one of the stronger teams in the league, that could really change the momentum of them early on, and hopefully means easier for us later in the season, or really once we've played the same amount of games as anybody else in the league.
Well, another thing about the wonkiness of the schedule is that, nobody's played cup games yet. So all like the lag,
Jägermeister.
Yeah, all the lag in the scheduling has been nothing but league games. And there's only 22 league teams this year.
Yeah.
There are some teams that have played more than a quarter of their league schedule right now.
Yeah. Wow. Like, well, and then think about it for us too, right? Like, we've only played 2 games. The people at the top of the table have 2 or 3 games in hand, and we're still in 5th.
But we're undefeated.
Yeah.
Let's take the small victories. Table doesn't matter when you're.
Well, no, I'm saying like it's wild. Like we're still in 5th, and we're still how many games behind too, right? Like there's still so much possibility here.
Well, we'd won 1 game going into this, played 1 game, won 1 game going into this, and we were sitting in 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'd been sitting in 7th for 2 weeks.
Which, did everyone else know that they were doing 8 teams in the playoffs this year? Because I feel like I only recently figured that out.
They announced that when they announced the League Cup, because
so stupid.
I think because I have a feeling it was a concession they had to make when they announced that they were only going to play 22 league games.
Yeah,
that's the only logic that I can think of. Otherwise, making your best team win 3 knockout games to win the league, technically, it's so stupid.
Well, especially since you're putting 2/3 of your teams into the playoffs.
I mean, that's stupid enough as it is, but also forcing the team that finishes top of the table. Sure, you get to play them all at home, but now you have to win 3 games the same amount as the team that finished at 8. Just makes no sense in soccer.
Well, we're due for how many teams that have announced to start play next
year? There's a range.
Is Texoma next year?
Texoma, Santa Barbara is looking more likely now. I don't know if Portland's next year or the year after.
They're supposed to be next year. They're doing their brand announcement this month.
Okay. And then the Southwest Florida, Naples, I think it is, they're apparently like ready to go for next year. So that's at least 4.
That puts us at 16. So that's MLS style. Half the teams make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more manageable.
That's a bit better.
I think they're just positioning, assuming Fuego doesn't drop out. But positioning themselves well for league expansion, setting that 8-team playoff option.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it in the long term. I don't like it in the short term.
Yeah.
I'll hate it in the long term.
You're going to hate everything in the long term. You're an old man.
Even at 16 teams, 6 is fine because you need to somehow reward first place.
No, this is America. We don't reward first place until you've beaten the person who you beat many times before.
Several additional times.
Yes.
Again, it makes more sense with football, right? Like with football, it makes a lot of sense that, you have more games because you don't get to play every team. But with like baseball and soccer and basketball, it's like you play these teams so many times. Why are you having to play them again?
And at least in football, it is even, no matter the division you're at, it is so much harder for a team that is clearly and obviously not as good as their opponent to beat said opponent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In soccer, there's so little scoring that, scoring goals in soccer is really fucking hard. So it's
so much so that you can do what Charlotte did to us last year in the playoffs and get through and almost win it.
Karma doesn't reward them though.
So glad they didn't win the final last year.
So glad.
But moving towards Charlotte this year, let's jump into, honestly, I think the big game this week. Are we? What's this being called? The Casciato Derby?
I mean, it might be, but all I know is it's pretty weird that it's happened twice in a row. It's like the Dr. Doofenshmirtz meme with the if I had a nickel for every time.
So you could say at least it got drawn this time, but technically it didn't because we were the only League One team to host, and
that's true.
To not host, so that was technically predetermined.
It was. Yeah, I realized that after the draw. I was like, wait a second, this didn't even matter.
About as much sense as shuffling two fucking envelopes before you draw one.
Well, a couple unique things about this game. It's at Werner Park, and we have half of El Paso. Apparently something's happening fun outside my house. But we have like half of El Paso's team.
Wait a second.
It's
okay. We got 3 of them.
Yeah, and basically.
Yeah, but still, it's a little bit more of a like on-field grudge match sort of feel than previously.
Who knows though how? Who knows how serious El Paso are, taking this match going into it. Maybe they take it seriously because they've been doing so poorly to start the season, or they are just so dejected.
Let's see. Where is El Paso right now?
So they have drawn once and lost 5 times. Now
All by goal.
All by a goal. So they've been close games.
It's
yeah.
Like they're like we lost. They lost I think 2-1 or 3-2 at home to Louisville. Also lost at home 1-0 to Hartford. So they are they're running the gamut. They're losing to good teams, they're losing to bad teams.
They drew. Last time they did not lose a game was March 13th.
Which was against Monterey Bay, who's apparently decent this year.
Yeah, they're in 3rd in the West, sitting on 11 points after 6 games.
But if you're in the Western Conference, you've scored fewer goals and given up more goals than Vegas, you've got a problem.
Hey, it's a new look Vegas, though. I will say, looking back at actually our game from last year, Gomez did play against us. So we did take one person directly from that game last year.
From that game last year, we clearly looked like the better team last year. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was 2-0 with a late goal for the second goal, but it was not that close. They had no fight at all.
Well, like one of the big things to consider for this game, we have a very new team. We are playing at Werner Park for the first time this season.
For the very first time. Mm-hmm.
I don't know when they've laid the pitch down. Today was a high of 87. Would have been a great day to put the pitch down, give a couple days of practice in the rain. But by Wednesday, I think game time is going to be around like 54, 53 degrees.
Hopefully not raining.
My guess is they probably practiced somewhere else today, because I would think on a Monday before a game on a Wednesday, they probably would play full pitch. And you can't do that on Werner on a Monday when they're flipping the field. Otherwise, tomorrow they're probably going to practice.
When was the last Storm Chasers game?
I assume they play Sunday. I assume they played Sunday. So today they're laying the pitch. It settles tomorrow. They play Wednesday.
Well, we know they played last Thursday because that was Union.
I believe minor league baseball schedules go Tuesday to Sunday.
All right. Well, according to weather.gov, 20 to 70% chance of showers on Wednesday night. Low of 44. tenth and quarter of an inch possible.
My wife might not be as disappointed to not get to go to this game as I thought.
So
Um,
it's a later start. It's a 7:30 game, which hopefully a lot of
Check that you viewers and listeners at home. It might be at 7.
I believe it's a 7:30 game.
It's 7.
Oh,
Because I was hoping for 7:30. Because
Yeah.
we had a Des Moines at 7:30, and I was happy about that.
yeah, I see 7 as well.
could have sworn I saw 7:30. Maybe that's just what you're thinking.
I was counting too. I mean, we have enough players to potentially field a team who has played on the field before, but I don't know if we will, right? Because with some of the signings, I wouldn't be surprised. I know maybe I'm skipping ahead a little, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Norte, because he didn't really play as much on Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rodriguez, because he didn't play as much, right? Like some of these other signings that are still new that like we mix in a little bit more would not surprise me.
Lagos and Gomez switch. Lagos starts, Gomez is off the bench. Gomez can then get a little run in during the game, can then start against Charlotte the weekend.
But
Yeah,
do you think we put more
especially with
emphasis on
attackers.
Charlotte? Like Charlotte's a revenge match. Or do we put more on the Open Cup, knowing we could face a weakened MLS roster in the next round and theoretically have a berth in the CONCACAF Champions League next season?
Third Division American people champions.
I mean,
I am here for you, Maha hosting Comunicaciones.
but where are we going to host them?
I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty strong side, but I think it'll be at least somewhat flipped from Friday, is my guess.
Yeah,
I would imagine that he's going to prioritize Charlotte more. 22 league games only, and I mean, you may not be trying to finish top of the table. Your goal may just be to finish top 4 and just at least get that first home game, top 2, so that with a little bit of luck, you're hosting the final even if you don't finish top of the table. But with just 22 league games, you have to prioritize that.
Yeah, but we're in 5th, having only played 2.
I mean,
so,
I don't know about you guys, but I think there's already a clear top 4. And the order is just you pick it. And it's us, Greenville, Madison, Knoxville. I think that's a clear top 4.
You think Madison is in it?
I just think that the middle of the league is very wishy-washy right now. And I'm going to just go straight through that. And that, I mean, I'd pick them gun to my head over more than half the teams in the league.
But they've drawn half the teams in the league.
I teed that one up for you.
Yeah. He's clearly a focus on the league. I'm clearly a focus on the Open Cup because I'd like to be able to host a Mexican side at Werner Park at some point. Where are you at, Kyle? Or are you focused on the Jägermeister Cup?
No. I mean, my thought is you play a strong side in both. Like, I don't know if there is a focus. My thought is you play a strong side in both. And we have strong players that we played earlier in the year that we just haven't rotated back in yet. I think you'll see those players. So, like, I don't think we're going to put out the same lineup we did Friday. Like, I wouldn't be, like I said, surprised to see Norte, surprised to see Rodriguez, surprised to see Kunga, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I could see that. But I think, like, back line-wise, I don't see changing much for either game.
You can change your tactics based on Well,
Well,
playing too.
That's true. We could go with a 4-back instead of a 3-back. Yeah.
Yeah, center defensive minutes like we started. Like we didn't see that.
So
everybody seems like they're finally back and healthy. I don't think we picked up too many injuries in training. Hopefully, there's still not flu kicking around the team, and we're able to field the full roster the entirety of the week.
Well,
for some of these guys, maybe allergies are an issue, like it is for the rest of us plebs. But we should be looking at a fairly well rested. I don't think anybody picked up injuries going into Knoxville and coming out of Knoxville. 2 games at home. You can finish Wednesday in 90 minutes. I'm not sure you see a whole lot of rotation for Saturday.
it depends. We still have yet, at least I don't think he's even been on the bench yet, seen Lewis, who is the most recent signing we've had.
No, we haven't.
And then there's some of these other players that I feel like are waiting to get a little bit more time, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them get a chance here with this 3-game week, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on from the Open Cup with a score prediction.
I hate score predictions. Which game were we predicting? Both?
We're predicting Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I'm going to say 2-1 because El Paso so far has only lost by 1 goal.
Yeah.
So I think we have the quality, as long as we're like taking it seriously, right, and going through with it. Like, I think we can beat them again. And yeah, I think 2-1.
I'll go with the same. Smells like it can be the most dangerous lead is a 2-goal lead. Give one up late. Kind of have to hold your breath to finish it.
You know what? The only game I think since I started doing score predictions I predicted correctly, at least score-wise, not when they happened, was the last U.S. Open Cup game. So I'm going to say 3-0.
I predicted the last Open Cup game correctly, I think.
We both did.
We both said 3-1?
Yeah.
Kyle, did you say 3-1 as well?
I did. I said 2-1 or 3-2, but I thought it'd go into extra time.
Yeah. We did not need that extra time. All right. Moving on to Saturday, a 2 p.m. game. Let's move to the 7-day forecast. Saturday,
Better?
high of 54.
You gotta be kidding me. 89 degrees outside today.
High
Yep.
of 54 on Saturday.
Well, the front is coming in with the storm. That's why.
Yeah. But wind's only supposed to be 10 to 14 mile an hour with gusts as high as 21.
When isn't it?
Yeah. Like that, but Warner Park, that's actually not bad.
Yeah.
Well, no, because sometimes it means that Warner Park is just going to be worse.
I mean, maybe, but Wednesday's going to be worse. That's guaranteed. Charlotte is coming into this game sitting in 6th, having played only 3 league games.
They just beat Greenville. They lost their opener in Knoxville. Get what they did in
Um,
a draw of some sort.
No, it was 2 wins.
United Heat.
Oh, Open Cup. Oh, they beat Spokane.
They did, though, just this past weekend end up beating a to that point undefeated Greenville team.
They did. Although this will probably be dropping Tuesday morning, hopefully, if I can get it to flow the way it should. They will be playing Rhode Island FC and our buddy Joe Brito.
Oh, I didn't think about them having to play in the cup too.
They are
Yeah.
6 p.m. Central Time, Charlotte versus Rhode Island in the Open Cup.
They host, right?
It looks as though they're hosting. So they've got an Open Cup game against a championship side.
Oh, Rhode Island's going to go for it too. First
Yeah.
year in existence.
First year team.
With good old as we know him, central midfielder Joe Brito.
And we know Joe Brito loves a good Open Cup match.
That is true.
They're playing 5 mids with him too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're playing 5, and he's the very center, which
I mean,
is weird to me.
But they've got travel on top of what's going to be hopefully a very tough Open Cup match. Coming into a cold Omaha. Weather and schedule aren't playing in their favor. I mean, they're coming off that high against Greenville, beating Greenville 1-0. But I think they're going to come in tired unless they're confident in their squad rotation. But I don't recall them picking up a very solid depth. Like I'm very content with Union Omaha's depth. I didn't see many other teams pick up the level of depth that I feel we have.
Who's even on their roster this year? I guess I don't even know.
I know they've named a guy that sounded like Overton, but is not Overton. So they've got a sound-alike on their club now. It is.
They only have 2 listed forwards.
Oh, Charlotte play tomorrow too. They do not play Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Carlton Belmar. Obregon, I think, is who you're thinking of.
Yes, that's it.
Is he the French one?
Gray. He's Honduran, Obregon. Yeah, Oberton is French, yeah.
Okay.
They still have Mbuyu, they still have Miguel Ibarra, Omar Sis, Dimick.
Not getting Kelly anymore, I don't think.
I don't see Dane
Don't
Kelly.
think so. They still have Pack and goal.
Mbuyu.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, they still definitely have some pieces.
Yeah. I mean, Pack is one of the best goalkeepers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
That is something to worry about. But I'm
glad the new defenders, though, will get the Open Cup game under their belt before this one.
Yeah.
Because they do have the guys
Pilatos
to get a counterattack goal with.
Oh, they do. Yeah, definitely. Wait, you said Pilato's there? What? Oh, dang.
Pilato.
Yeah,
Oh.
in Greenville. Huh.
And the league does not have a picture for it. So
They don't have a picture for Oberton either. Which, I mean,
They just get his Man United picture and just put it on there. Just like go for all the lulls right now.
well, I'm still not seeing a whole lot that gives me faith in their depth. But I think they're going to go all out on Wednesday. Championship side that dropped down. I don't think CFC is in the Open Cup.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
No, their 2-team was.
So it's the original team in the original competition. They might actually be able to draw for this one playing at home. So I think they throw more weight into the Open Cup than they do against us.
yeah.
They might have to play 120 minutes for sure.
Yeah, 120 minutes and lose miserably. Miserably. Couple injuries. Austin Pack strains a thumb. Not sprains, just strains.
So just out for a week is what
Out
you're
for
thinking.
5 days.
I can still like use this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So lineup here is definitely going to depend on what we play Wednesday, how tough Wednesday is. Weather's not going to be hugely in our favor, but we'll at least have had one game under our belt. Weather's going to be cold enough. The grass isn't going to grow particularly well. I'm just hoping it's not soaked and chipping up by Saturday.
That happened one time last year when they had 2 games in a week. It was good for the midweek game, and then they got to Saturday, and
It just started coming up.
It was rough.
But I think that was also like a very, very hot week, and watering wasn't quite.
I think it was the opposite. I actually think what happened was we got rain in between the Wednesday and the Saturday, and either it did not do well for the pitch, or they just did not plan for it.
Yeah. The pitch concerns me. It's not prime growing season. The turf coming in also worries me of what quality that's going to be. And if they're doing it from large indoor grow house, sure, but we've had seasons where we've switched turf providers, and I don't know who the turf provider is this year. I believe last year we were using one from Nebraska. Previously, we've been using Eastern Colorado. So it's how far it's coming in, what temperatures it's subjected to, how quickly they're getting it down. Like if it went down yesterday, that would have been ideal. So you have a full day of it kind of getting water, getting some growth, going into the rain, hopefully drying out with the wind by Wednesday, so it doesn't get too torn up. But Saturday game definitely worries me. Afternoon temperature won't be too horrible in 54. What they're playing on Saturday, just
I think it's hard to just predict this kind of stuff. And we're always kind of thinking about this the first game of the season, because it's been almost 6 months since we've seen them have to do this before. So I'd worry less about it, and just what happens. Just remember that both teams have to play on.
Well, you say that, but then I'm going to make you do a score prediction. So, important things for this game. Do we have a theme for this one? Is there Union Omaha has their theme schedule out?
Oh, they did? I didn't see them do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Home.
It was sneaky this year.
The poster giveaway.
Oh.
So you can get a poster with the league schedule on it. I'm sure that's probably the first 500 people in gates. So show up early. Go pay extra for concessions because you get in there early, and get a poster that hopefully it doesn't rain on. Parliament is doing a tailgate.
Parliament is doing a tailgate. I believe it will be breakfast themed.
Breakfast themed. It's a 2:00 game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making brunch.
Yeah, but we're not going to be bougie. So
no mimosas, no bloodies.
You bring your own champagne in plastic bottles, by the way.
Okay. So apparently there's a brunch tailgate, and get your brunch, get your poster, watch a good soccer match, bring a friend, bring 5 friends,
Maybe go to punt night after.
bring 20 friends. I mean, do you have 20 friends? You should bring them.
I definitely don't have 20 friends.
So you have 20 friends that will be there without you bringing them. They are showing up on their own.
Their own?
20 new friends. Go find 20 new friends by Saturday.
Oh boy.
All right. Score predictions.
Make Luke go first this time.
I think it's going to be 2-1 Union Omaha. I think we're going to see 3 ankles rolled. I don't know what team, but I think the pitch is going to look like absolute crap.
I'm going to say 1-1.
I'm going to say 1-0. Just a very gritty game, and we squeak out a goal for a win.
All right. Game like this, where they have enough players coming back from last year, we have enough players coming back from last year. The way it kind of went out, their awkward celebration at Logan Park. How many yellow cards are going to be in this game?
Oh boy.
I will wait for the referee assignment to take that guess.
I'm going to
I will say we have the lowest yellow card per game average versus anyone else in the league. Is Charlotte.
How about them versus us?
Oh well, I'm saying like I counted for both teams. So like both teams combined, when we play one another, it's the lowest of any other team in the league that we play.
This is 3rd Division US, so
it's 4.28 a game. So there's generally around a little over 4 yellow cards between us a game when we play.
I'm going to say 5.
I mean, I would definitely skew higher too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably take the over.
Yeah. All right. I don't think there are any added events going on immediately after, or like in the following week.
Well, and then we have the next week off too. So
yeah, next game is May 1st, then followed by May 4th.
Unless
there's
another. Well, actually, no. The next Open Cup game would be May 7th to 8th. So actually, no, it would be. We would have time if we do get it.
All right. Well, May 1st is going to be Pups at the Pitch. And then May 4th, Star Wars and fireworks. Do not bring your dogs to that
By the way, 2 out of the last 3 years, Pups at the Pitch is midweek. I just think Team Trop is wrong with that.
I think it's a safer bet for the dogs because you can have more space because it's going to be lower.
I'm guessing they're used to that from baseball.
Yeah. But while it'd be really cool to have it on a weekend, it makes more sense to have it on a weekend.
I mean, I can understand that.
All right. One last question. You ready? Because we can actually see each other this time.
Yeah, I can't.
All right. Who gives a hoot? We do.
We do.